What's up everybody, this is Sean with Tab Performance. I'm pretty excited about today's video. I'm going to be installing the AdvanBlack's full body color swap kit, and I'll show you how we go from this to this. And if you're not familiar with AdvanBlack, they have really streamlined the customization process because they have a huge variety of custom aftermarket body parts, and I'm talking everything from stretch saddlebags, stretch slide covers, tank covers, fenders, fairings, tour packs, and the list goes on. And it all comes in factory matched paint. So if you want to add some color matched stretch saddlebags to your whiskey amber street glide, go right ahead. Or if you want to add a chopped tour pack to your Tahitian teal road glide, do it. And I encourage you to check out the link below because they have over 100 factory matched color options to choose from. They also have bundles, which is what I'll be rigging up here in a second, and the color swap bundles do two things. One, it replaces all your factory stock painted parts with AdvanBlack replacements. So you get stretch bags, stretch side covers, stretch tank cover, a fairing shell, their Dominator fender, and their Reveal front fender. And two, you can choose any color option you want. So if you've been thinking about getting a paint job done on your bike, consider the color swap bundle because not only do you get the custom paint, you also get the cooler custom aftermarket AdvanBlack products. If the color swap bundle isn't enough for you, you can add any other product they offer in whatever color that you want to complete your bundle. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be adding to our bundle the Road Glide front fairing spoiler along with the chopped engine guard, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like.
So part of the reason for doing this is because the bike also has some bumps and bruises from being ridden, from being torn apart dozens of times, and just from being jostled around in the trailer from going show to show. There's a big dent in the rear fender, there's scratches all over the bags and fairing, but the giant dent in the tank I think just kind of pulls everything together for us. This happened on the way back from a show. The trailer got sideswiped by a tow truck and knocked this bike over inside of the trailer. I'm not going to do a super in-depth install video here just because it's pretty straightforward, so here we go. Now, if you're a fan of the Laguna Orange, you might be wondering what we're doing. Now, don't get me wrong, I really like this color too. The Laguna Orange really pops in the sun, and to me, it stands out without being too loud. If we wanted to, we could have gotten the whole kit in the factory Laguna Orange, but we really wanted to change it up entirely. I started with the rear by removing the bags, seat, and side covers. The fender was a little tricky because the dent I showed earlier pushed some of the fender support covers out of alignment, so I couldn't get my socket through the cover to the screw that needed to be taken out. So I just removed the cover completely to get access to it. The front fender was a little surprising with how stuck the bolts were. The Loctite used on the threads made it sound like the bolts were breaking with each quarter turn, but all the bolts came out in one piece. As Bo worked on the tank, I worked on the fairing, and one thing that should be done at this point if you're installing the fairing spoiler is to remove the stock engine guard and to install the chopped one along with the fairing support. The chopped guard is required. If you want to add the spoiler, it won't work with the stock guard. We had to skip this part of the install because we ordered the spoiler and engine guard at a later time, and we were actually leaving for Sturgis before it arrived. Then we started building it back up, starting with the tank cover and the tank console. Very straightforward again, just put the covers on and then cinch it together with the supplied screws. And then we finished up the tank by installing the new, sleeker tank console. Moving on as Bo worked on transferring the necessary parts from the stock fairing to the new one, I did the same for the rear fender. Once we got all the parts transferred, I went ahead and got the rear fender installed. Then we worked on the front fairing. Again, if you're installing the fairing spoiler, this is when you'd want to do it before you get this cover back on. Also along with that chopped engine guard and fairing support bracket. There are quite a few screws here. There's 4 for the windshield, 1 behind each speaker cover, 1 for each blinker, and then 2 for each of the wind deflectors. But just take your time and it'll get snugged down evenly. And then I did a quick fit test on the front fender, and I actually ended up not installing it here because it didn't clear the wheel chock, so I put that on later. Then I moved on to the rear fender and ran all the wires back to the original location under the seat. Then I put the fender support covers on, and then finally I put on the air tank for our air ride system. Next we put on the side covers and the seat to see how the tank lined up, and then we transferred all the necessary parts from the stock bags over the new ones. We actually are reusing the stock bag hinge for now because we're 3D printing a custom one with our logo on it, which I'll show you here at the end of the video. Transferring all the stock hardware from the stock bag to the new one is probably the most tedious part of this whole thing. Just there's some little screws that go into all the little hinges and hooks, so just take your time here. About 3 weeks went by and our crew finally got back from Sturgis. I got the bike in as quick as I could to get the spoiler put on. And as you can see, we had switched over some of the black components of the exhaust system back to chrome. For the spoiler, I had to take off the fairing shell again, which kind of stinks that it had to be done twice, but it's really just those screws that I had mentioned earlier. I also installed the chopped engine guard and the fairing support bracket, which again has to be done. I was especially excited about the spoiler and to get it on as soon as possible because out of all the modifications that come with the kit, this one is my favorite as I think it really adds a new level of aggressiveness to the bike. I'm just kind of bummed that we weren't able to get it on before we went out to Sturgis. But it's on now and life is good. With the engine guard, the fairing support bracket, and the spoiler all installed, I was able to move on to the fairing shell and get that installed for the second time. Then Tom stopped by to make sure that everything lined up, that the fairing was lined up with the spoiler, the windshield, and everything looked good. Once I passed his inspection, I took the bike outside and gave her a bath.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed the video today, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing. That really helps out our channel a lot. While you're here, go ahead and check out some of our other recently published videos. If you have any questions about the specific product that we did today or any other product that we have to offer, just like this cool shirt that I'm wearing, just go ahead and follow those links in the description below. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching.